4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision's The Week That Was, covering the news and events for the week ending Friday, April 15th, 2022. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Troy University presented the Hall Waters Prize to an author and Alabama native, Michelle Richmond, this week. Troy University students had the chance to hear from Richmond about her life and work. Taylor Wayman has the story.
Native and best-selling author Michelle Richmond was awarded the Hall Waters Prize for contributions to Southern literature. Troy's English Department senior seminar class put the event together with help from Department Chair Dr. Kernet to honor the author.
To me, it's such a welcome home. It's such a wonderful homecoming, and it feels so much to me to get to be a part of this in my home state, because I feel like I became a writer in Alabama, and that's sort of where I cut my teeth and where so many of my stories come from.
Richmond writes a variety of genres, from expectations and marriage to mystery thrillers, but what each novel has in common is the reflection of life being pushed out of your comfort zone. In much of Michelle's writing, characters experience the push and pull Michelle also experienced as she merged her old life with her new one.
I just want to write about ordinary people who find themselves in extraordinary and extremely difficult situations and how they navigate those situations. So there's often a lot of grief and loss, but in the latest book there's also satire.
Students were able to ask questions about the rapidly changing publishing landscape and the meaning behind some of Richmond's most notable works.
This has been an experience that I have no other experience like this, planning an event like this and working with an actual notable author. So I think for all of us, this is just something new and something we can kind of add to our portfolios and take into the real world with us.
One trend Richmond seemed to emphasize is that rejection is imminent, but there's always a home for your writing.
There's a lot of rejection. Most writers experience a lot of that, and then you have to believe in your writing more than anyone else does to get through all of the rejection and to sort of get to the next step.
Taylor Wayman, Troy, TrojanVision News.
We'll hear more from Richmond later in our show during this week's Trojan Talk. And Troy University music industry students got the chance to pick the brain of a professional musician who had a hand in creating a number of big hits in rock and roll. As Kaylee Wright shows us, it was a part of the school's annual Mic Check Music Industry Showcase.
Troy University Mic Check had a special guest teach high school students about audio engineering and critique performances. This guest is an award-winning musician, music producer, and sound engineer who is featured in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This man is Chris Brennan, a founder and former drummer for 9 Inch Nails. He says that music is something that has always been a part of his life.
I started playing drums when I was 6 years old, but my dad just noticed at like age 4 and 5 that I just naturally would bang on stuff or march around to music, and I seemed to connect to it. It's weird because it's been part of my life for so long now. I actually, it just feels like it's literally always been there as far back as my brain goes.
In addition to being a talented drummer, Brennan is also instrumental in audio engineering and music producing. He worked with bands such as Metallica, Evanescence, and Code Orange, which was recently nominated for a Grammy Award. In addition to his collaborations with these groups, among others, Brennan also has his own band called Tweaker. He says that being able to produce your own music and have creative freedom to experiment is needed.
So when you do something like a tweaker for yourself, there's no time frame for it. It's just whatever you want to do when you want to do it. So that's when I can develop new techniques and new ideas and new practices, and then I can implement those later, on my clients.
Though Chris Brennan is a busy man, he had no trouble coming to Troy University today because he is a professor at Calhoun Community College in Huntsville, Alabama.
I'd been doing the rock thing for a couple decades plus, and it was all starting to take a toll, and I was asked to start just kind of like coming here. I was just asked to go to a couple different schools and like kind of do a master class. I always like to help young people if I can, because I was like 21 when 9 Inch Nails got big, and I realized I just loved it. It was like an immediate thing, like I just fell in love with the idea of teaching.
After a 2-year hiatus due to COVID, Troy University's Relay for Life is returning to campus later this month. Right now, organizers are actively seeking out participants to take part in this year's rally. Kaylee Wright has the story.
Colleges Against Cancer is back, and its members are ready to educate students and spread awareness about cancer.
We work to raise money for cancer research. We work to spread awareness on different types of cancer and how they affect people.
And for the first time in 3 years, they will be waving goodbye to cancer and aloha to a cure with their Tropical Relay for Life event.
So you can come out and you can play games and walk laps together and honor survivors.
Though the Colleges Against Cancer Committee has been doing a lot of their own fundraising, they say that the teams that participate in Relay for Life are the biggest contributors.
The teams are mainly so that you can set a goal to fundraise and raise the money on your own to donate to Relay. You can do as much as you want. It could be you and a few friends, or it could be a sports team.
While Relay for Life is an evening full of fun and games, it is also a time to recognize those who battled cancer.
A lot of our teams have someone that they have lost, so they like to honor those people in our luminaria ceremony or in the survivor or caregiver laps. My dad was diagnosed with lung cancer last summer, and he passed away this past December, so Relay is really important to me.
To get involved, you can follow Troy U Relay on Instagram and direct message them for more information. Kaylee Wright, Troy, TrojanVision News.
We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll see how Troy University students got a small taste of what it's like to be a Marine. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
We all dream, but dreams quickly become distant memories unless we do something about it. Do everything in our power to learn to lead. At Troy University, we offer leadership opportunities from day one. We're dedicated to teaching a new generation to lead change. Do you have what it takes to change the world?
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
Applications are now open for a camp that will give high school students the chance to be immersed in Chinese language and culture on the Troy University campus this summer. Claudia Peppenhorst has the details.
For the 13th year, Troy University will hold the Troy Star Chinese Language Camp for high school students looking to learn the Chinese language.
It is a 2-week language summer program here at the university. It's sort of an immersive program where students, high school students, typically come to the university. They stay here for 2 weeks in a dorm, and they're immersed in the Chinese language and Chinese culture.
And part of the cultural learning comes in the form of dances and martial arts classes that are tied to the Chinese culture.
We do things like the lion dance, the dragon dance, Tai Chi, fan dance, and we put those into the program to help the students stay focused and also to help them break away from the traditional classroom sort of mundane activities to get to something more fun. However, with that being said, during these cultural activities, we are using the Chinese that they learned in the classroom to teach them the steps of the dances and whatnot. So they're not wasting any time. They're still learning Chinese as we're doing these fun activities.
Deal says that many people want to learn Chinese because it has become an important language in politics and business.
Chinese, as I'm sure you understand, is a critically needed language in the United States for a lot of reasons, economically, politically. So for that reason, we've designed Troy Star to sort of produce more Chinese speakers because they go on to become our leaders and our business people.
Deal adds that Troy is a good place to have a camp like Troy Star due to its many connections to China on campus.
And then we have many specific to China, many things here like the Terracotta Warriors, the exhibition hall, and we have a lot of Chinese students. And so I think Troy is a unique place to have this camp, and I think it's an ideal place because we have so many resources to include in the language learning part of the program.
The camp will be held June 27th through July 9th, and the deadline to register for the camp is May 1st. Claudia Peppenhorst, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
Troy University's International Student Cultural Organization routinely teaches about the many countries represented by international students on campus. However, this past week, students got a lesson in the religion of many of those students, as a major element of Islam was the focus. Georgia Clark has the details.
Ramadan is a holy month for the Islamic people, where they take part in traditions such as fasting, prayer, and raising money for charities. This religious event is celebrated by billions across the globe.
And on Thursday night, Troy University's International Student Cultural Organization held Ramadan Night in hopes to educate students about the holiday.
It teaches culture and religion at the same time, especially with Ramadan being such an important holy month for the Muslim students that we have here. Our Vice President, Shakib, is a Muslim, so we thought it would be a good way to get him to explain and teach us a little bit about his life, his culture, and what Ramadan means to him.
Though Shakib is happy to share his culture here at Troy, celebrating at home is something he misses.
To be honest with you, it's not like the same like in my country. Like, you know, missing family, like my mother's food and everything. But every year I try to make it like I'm home.
Ramadan observes the beginning of Islam over 1,400 years ago, when it is said that God gifted the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad. The Muslim community has various ways of celebrating Ramadan, but there is one thing that remains key during the festivities.
We have traditions in Egypt like to celebrate Ramadan, like we decorate the streets and we decorate our houses and like that. But the first thing, or the important thing in Ramadan, the celebration thing, is to celebrate that we have Islam, that we had Islam, that we are Muslims. That's number one celebration in Ramadan.
ISCO's next event will be Thursday, April 14th at the Troy versus South Alabama baseball game, and they will be hosting a tailgate. Students are encouraged to come and bring international foods from their home countries. Georgia Clark, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
Troy University students had the chance to see what it's like to shoot like a Marine on Tuesday afternoon as a traveling shooting simulator made its way to the Troy campus. Emma Ellis has that story.
Tuesday, Troy University students had the opportunity to use a rifle simulator that the U.S. Marines use for target practice.
Today, we have our media vehicle. So basically, it's a vehicle that's got a rifle simulator inside of it, which simulates what it's like for Marines to fire our weapon system, and then it simulates basically how you are on a range and then how the recoil reacts when you fire that weapon.
Inside the vehicle, students were instructed on how to use the simulation and how the simulation measures their accuracy.
For any prospective students that are looking for, a way to sort of start that career path, the Marine Corps is one of those options.
The Marine recruiter's purpose was to show students this possible career path and answer any questions that prospective recruits may have. However, they hope that even if a person does not wish to join the Marines, that they will garner some appreciation for them from this event.
When you see a Marine, go up to them. Go learn something about them. Whether or not you have the propensity to be a Marine, there is always such a wealth of knowledge that you can gain from them.
Emma Ellis, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll get a glimpse of a day in the life of Troy University's favorite mascot, T-Roy. It's coming up right after the break, so stay tuned.
We all dream, but dreams quickly become distant memories unless we do something about it. Do everything in our power to learn to lead. At Troy University, we teach everyone to be leaders in their field. We're dedicated to teaching a new generation to lead change.
Mama. Mama. Say mama. Yeah.
I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm almost 2 now and still not responding. That's one sign of a communication disorder. and delaying treatment can affect my development.
Many parents aren't aware of the early signs of speech, language, and hearing disorders, yet early detection and treatment can improve quality of life.
Say dada.
Ugh, here we go.
Identify the signs of communication disorders.
The Pike Regional Child Advocacy Center came up with a playful way to raise money for the center over the weekend. They had kids and adults alike playing an old playground favorite. Taylor Wayman has all the action.
Saturday, Troy's rec department lent its soccer field for a game of kickball. The Pike Regional Child Advocacy Center partnered with Troy's resiliency program and held its first ever kickball tournament in awareness of Child Abuse and Prevention Month.
And this was a fun event to do. Everybody was, ready and eager to get out and, out and about outside because we've been cooped up with COVID and whatnot. So everyone was ready to, get out here and kick some balls around.
Kids and adults participated in multiple rounds of kickball and a championship game where the winner got to take home a hefty-sized trophy. Ice cream and even a moon bounce were there for children while others competed for the winning title. The wind didn't affect today's kickball tournament at all. The Children's Advocacy Program still enjoyed a game of kickball, with winners taking home trophies and proceeds still going to the Child Advocacy Program for Child Abuse.
Coming from healthcare, we certainly get to see those kind of tragedies every day, and to work with a group that's so well led. Kaylee does a great job with Child Advocacy Center, and very worthwhile cause.
All services offered at the Child Advocacy Center are free, and any fundraising event proceeds go directly to the center to ensure that children receive the free services offered.
I think today's has been a wonderful day, other than fighting the wind. It's been just, great to be out here, have community support. I've just been blown away by how, supportive and humble this community has been to us. We can't do this without the community. It takes a village to take care of our children and families. And just having events like this really show, how much support it takes, and just how, your children and families come out and support you to help those other children and families in need.
We're really glad to be back out here and enjoying this beautiful day and enjoying this camaraderie and the team spirit the other teams brought. So yeah, we had a good time.
Taylor Wayman, Troy, TrojanVision News.
If you've ever been to a Troy sporting event, then there's no doubt you've seen one of the most famous Trojans of all, Troy University's mascot, T-Roy. And while he always seems to be hard at work entertaining fans and taking pictures with little Trojans in the crowd, T-Roy does occasionally get some downtime. Rex Smith gives us a look behind the scenes in the life of T-Roy.
Troy University is home to many sporting events and many sports fans, but no one is a bigger sports fan than the school's mascot, T-Roy.
He's very excitable. He is very passionate. He loves Troy and Troy athletics. Game days, you'll catch him over at Riddle Pace Field. You catch him over at the softball complex, football field, inside the arena for basketball and volleyball as well.
And while you can catch T-Roy at every single sporting event, he says that he spends most of his off days here at Trojan Arena.
So my job title is being T-Roy's babysitter.
And as T-Roy's babysitter, Caleb is responsible for going over different ways to pump up the crowd, making sure T-Roy's dance moves stay up to date with the latest trends, practicing running the flag for game days, and occupying the lovable Trojans' free time.
We like playing video games. His favorite video games are 2K and Madden. You better watch out. He'll whip you in some 2K. He's a legend. We also have a list of chores for T-Roy to do throughout the week, one of them being scrubbing the floors here in the arena, another one being checking every single seat in the arena, make sure it works properly and is safe for our guests.
Caleb also makes sure that T-Roy's belly is always full of his favorite food, chicken tenders.
He loves chicken tenders. You can find him in Saga on Fried Chicken Wednesdays, eating everybody else's chicken tenders. We tried to give him a hamburger one time and it did not work out. Try it, it's good. You can call it a disaster.
And while babysitting the university's mascot is a unique and fun opportunity, it also comes with its own set of challenges.
One of the hardest tasks when dealing with T-Roy is trying to get him in the shower. Trying to get him bathed is one of the toughest things I've done in my entire life.
So between practicing, doing his chores, and waiting for the next sporting event to come around, this mascot schedule is pretty full, even on his off days. Rex Smith, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The Trojan baseball team had an explosive start to the rivalry week, soundingly defeating in-state rival Jacksonville State Tuesday night at Riddle Pace. Jacqueline Lambert has the highlights.
Coming off of a successful road trip in Louisiana, the Troy baseball team will return to Riddle Pace Field for what would be the start of their rivalry week, starting with in-state foe Jacksonville State, who they defeated 12-5.
I thought it was a multi-level, win. I mean, we obviously swung the bat very well, had some home runs, had some situational hitting, very good defensively, other than the first play of the game. And, I thought the bullpen to, go 7 innings, essentially goose eggs till that little, triple that was flipped down the line. I thought we were really good at all the stuff you need to be good at.
Troy found themselves behind in the first 2 innings of the game, allowing 4 unearned runs on 3 hits. The Trojans got things going, however, soon after with the Caleb Bartolero home run in the bottom of the 2nd. Troy would begin their comeback in the bottom of the 4th when all bases were loaded for the Trojans by way of 2 walks and a hit by pitch. Troy would come within 1 thanks to Donovan Wibbs on a double down the left field line before Jesse Hall would tie the game on a sacrifice fly. From then on, it would be all Troy, scoring 8 runs over the next 4 innings. Caleb Bartolero would pick up 2 more homers before the end of the game, making it the first time since Logan Cerny did it in February of 2021 that a Trojan would hit 3 home runs in a single game.
Well, and I don't know if you guys realize, this guy had surgery a month ago. Broke his thumb diving in on a play, just playing full out, and he's actually safe on the play that he dove. It was an intelligent play. It's just unfortunate he hit his thumb and broke the top side, broke that UCL that goes to the thumb. And so at the time, we thought he was done for the season. I know I even said it on radio just because I thought he was going to be done for the season, but he's a really tough kid.
Bartolero and the Trojans will return to Riddle Pace Field to face yet another rival in South Alabama, hoping to continue their success.
I just got to keep building, keep having good ABs. Even my 2 ABs that I got out tonight, I felt like they were positive ABs where I could contribute to the team. So I just got to keep building, keep playing for the boys, for the Trojans, and I think good things will happen.
Jacqueline Lambert, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Well, it's time for our last break. When we return, we'll learn more about Hall Waters Prize winner Michelle Richmond. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
For over 70 years, Smokey Bear has asked you to use fire responsibly.
Fire is due to an unattended campfire. Go time.
Here's how you can stay on the front lines of preventing wildfires. Always watch your campfire. Before leaving, drown it, stir it, drown it again, and feel that the fire is out cold.
Oh, bullseye!
And you won't need a visit from these guys.
Copy that.
You can be Smokey's wingman when enjoying nature and prevent wildfires. Visit SmokeyBear.com for more fire prevention tips.
As was mentioned earlier, Michelle Richmond received Troy University's Hall Waters Prize this week. Richmond is the guest on this week's Trojan Talk. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. With me today is Michelle Richmond, an author and winner of the Hall Waters Prize here at Troy University. Thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me, Aaron. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, and I was going to ask, the Hall Waters Prize is an award given out every year for significant contributions in Southern heritage through a number of venues, specifically writing, and that's what you were awarded for. First off, just how does it feel to be recognized for your writing in this kind of way?
Well, it makes me so happy. It's my home state, and the previous winners, when I read the list, I just felt so delighted and honored to be in their company, and it's just and I get to come down south, so it's wonderful.
And that's one of the things. And you aren't in Alabama now; you're California, correct? But you still carry a little bit of that Alabama with you wherever you go, including in your writing. A lot of people see that in your writing. So talk about how that has kept with you over the years, especially as you've gotten into the career and become an author?
Well, I think where you're from, where you're born, and where you're raised, it just informs who you are for your whole life. And so much of writing is about sort of dropping back into your memories and digging back into your past. And even if you don't mean to be digging, it's just there. So it bubbles up in the writing, whether that's intentional or not. And so when I started out, I was intentionally writing about Mobile and the Gulf Coast and Alabama and also Mississippi, where my parents are from. And as I progressed and started writing books about California, I found that Alabama still made its way into those books as well.
And the transition, it's got to be at first probably a little bit of a shock to be in Alabama and then go out to California, obviously, but that must be why it started coming back into your writing, as you're bringing a little bit of that home back with you, right?
Well, I'll tell you why it wasn't a shock, because I was rinsed in New York City.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Between Alabama and San Francisco is New York City, and so everything is easy after New York.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about you had a chance while you're here on campus to talk with the students and share your experiences with them about writing. How does that make you feel as an author to know that you're making a direct impact and seeing students that are reading your work and acknowledging your work and thinking enough about your work to be able to ask these educated questions and be knowledgeable of what you've written?
Well, I loved meeting the students, and this class who put all this together was especially interesting because they had done so much groundwork for months, and they had done a lot of research. So in addition to putting together a great event, they also just sort of knew their stuff, and they were asking me really tough questions I haven't been asked before. So I love that. But I just, you know, when I was an undergraduate, anytime I got to meet a writer was a thrill for me, and just getting to talk to the students about what the business is like and what the life is like and what they can expect. I met a playwright, a script writer, some students who want to go into editing, and it's just and a poet. It's delightful to get to talk to them. That's the best part.
And one of the things that you were able to share with them is your experience and your knowledge, because you've written a variety of different formats. And the students, I know at the event where they were able to ask you questions, they were able to ask you about how some of those different formats kind of formed where you are today.
Yeah.
And so, and how did that make you feel about being able to share the different things and how you got to where you are at this point?
Well, I love sharing that because when I was a student, we were taught how to write short stories, and we were also sort of taught, well, don't really worry about novels, don't think about that. But that's not true. If you're going out into the world to be a writer and you want to publish books, you most of the time have to think about novels. So I like being able to give them some sort of practical advice about what a writing life is like and how to navigate it.
And of course, you still sort of bounce back and forth between the short stories and the novels. Is that an easy transition to make, or have you got to be in this novel mindset, got to stay in this lane, or can you bounce back and forth kind of freely between the two?
I bounce back and forth. I mean, stories are more fun. They're just always more fun unless I'm in the first 50 pages of a novel, which is great fun and happens rapidly. After that, a novel is a slog and it's hard work. A story is almost always fun, so a story for me, writing a story is taking up. It's hard to get it right, but actually the writing of it is fun. So it's like taking a break from the long form. And still continuing the career in writing and a few more books. I know they talked about another book coming out here. Got stuff floating in your head. So always ideas floating around about things that you're going to write in the future. There's always something, and I always have too many ideas. I always have over a dozen notebooks scattered around the house. I'll pick them up and realize, oh, I didn't know I wrote that, and realize it was supposed to be for this book. Yes, it's disorganized, it's sort of chaotic, but it works. And you finally see it to come together on the printed page and get to share it with the world. Yes, I want to thank you for joining us here, and congratulations once again on the Hull Waters Prize, and thanks for joining us here on Trojan Talk. Thank you, Aaron. It's a joy. And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk. And that's the week that was. To find out what's happening on a daily basis, you can tune in to TrojanVision News, 5, 6:30, and 10:30, Monday through Friday, or visit us anytime on the TrojanVision blog at today.troy.edu/TrojanVision to see online content from Troy TrojanVision News anytime. And until next time,
Have a good week.